What's up, YouTube? I am alive and focused. You know what? Let me grab a seat because I'm not going to be able to do this. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm going to take a seat over here. Oh, yeah, and by the way, I'm still representing Alabama. I'm just doing it with the army green on. Real nice, something different. But anyway, I wanted to hop on here and talk about briefly. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible. I'm actually losing daylight. And the light in here is not going to be what I want. But anyway, it's been a week and a day. Today is Tuesday. So it's been a week and 1 day since the title game. And a lot has taken place. It seems like we have a mass exodus happening right now down in Alabama, or over in Alabama. Now, normally this is not, such a big deal because this is something we deal with year after year. Because, when you have a program that is this successful, a program that is highly successful, as we have been over the past 10 years, even though we lost last week, it's still 5 out of 10, guys, and that's pretty doggone impressive. He's already been deemed as the best coach of all time, and if you know somebody better, then, hey, leave me a note, let me know, because I don't. I'm in my mid-40s, and I ain't seen anybody do it this well, ever. So, with everyone, we have how many folks leave? I forget. We got 3 coaches off the coaching staff that's leaving, and we have 7 players. Well, you got 7 players that are leaving early. Okay, 7 players that are leaving early, and then you got Jalen Hurts, who is transferring, and it looks like it's going to be Miami. I think he's following Dan Enos down there, who was the quarterback coach at Alabama. I think he's following him down there. So we've lost him. So we lost 3 coaches, 7 players who decided to qualify for the NFL draft, and then 2 players, 2 important, well, one player to graduation, which is Damien Harris, and we lost Jalen Hurts to as a result of a transfer. So what's that? That's 9 players, 9 important players too. And normally, for Alabama, this is pretty much the norm every year, but I'm going to tell you why it's a little bit different this year, in my opinion. And I'm not going to say I'm worried, but I am a little bit concerned, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. In the past, when we have lost players, let me do it like this. Maybe this will be better. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hold it this long, so I'll make this quick. In the past, when we've lost players, we were okay because the players who replaced them, a lot of times they were already on the field. Like if we had a guy to leave, for instance, I'll take you back a couple of years. Say maybe over the past 4 or 5 years, we've had, especially on defense, our defensive line was so stout and just, unbelievable that we could lose a player or 2 players and we would be okay because his replacement was playing next to him the entire time. Because a lot of these guys are not in the same class. We've had, anywhere from freshmen to seniors playing together that were really, really good, okay? And during that process, I'll take you back to think about players like Jaron Reed and Tomlinson and what's the other guy? Ashawn Robinson. Okay. Ashawn was a junior, I believe, and Jerry Reed was a year ahead of him. And those guys played side by side. You understand what I'm saying? And when one left, we still had the other one, and he was there. But that year we had a multitude of guys. We had that whole front line they were just beasts of their own. As a matter of fact, back in 2016, that defensive line we had was so rough that they had more sacks. Well, let me say it like this. As a team, we had more sacks than anybody in the country. But at the same time, we blitzed the least amount. Okay, so did you get that? We had more sacks than anybody, but we didn't blitz nearly as much as anybody else. We had percentage-wise, we blitzed the least amount of anybody in the country, and yet we had more sacks. What does that tell you? That tells you that we were getting to the quarterback with just the front four, right? So when that's pretty much been the way we did things on defense, because we have these 5 stars, coming in willing to sit on the bench, and they'll sit on the bench because we already got studs playing, but they will come in as freshmen, sit on the bench, and wait a year to come in the game and make an impact, and we've been turning them out, like that every year pretty much. But anyway, let me get to my point here. I think this year is a little bit different because this year, and I told people in the beginning that this defense was not nearly as good as the defense we had last year or the year before. The year before, 2016, that was the best defense college football had ever seen, period. I think that defense had more points than some teams had scored in like a 2-game stretch. That's ridiculous. Think about that. We had a bunch of fumble recoveries for touchdowns and pick sixes. That was one of the better scoring defenses anybody had ever seen, But this defense here, the one we had this year, it was okay, but we didn't have the same playmakers, is what I'm saying. We had 6 new players in the secondary, which people didn't realize that. So those guys had to learn on the job, okay? And on the defensive line, it was pretty much Quentin Williams and nobody else. Well, I won't say nobody else. I won't say that. We had Anthony Jennings, but he didn't play the way he did last year. Remember last year, Anthony, in that Clemson game last year in the semifinal, he was unguardable. They couldn't stop him. I think he had 2 or 3 sacks. And he ended up getting hurt either in the 3rd quarter or early 4th or something like that, which really upset me because there was no need for him to even be in the game at that point. They could have removed him. We won the game, but we won the game 24-7. So, late 3rd, early 4th, whenever it was, he went out with that knee injury. He didn't need to be in there. And honestly, if he hadn't been in there, he wouldn't have got hurt, hopefully, and we would have had him for the Georgia game, which we really, really needed him for. I think we probably would have won that without going into overtime. But anyway, that's a different story. But the point I'm making is that this year's defense is not like last year's defense or the year before that. Because those other defenses, they had multiple guys on the line. In the past, we've had at least 2, I'm going to say at least 3 guys who could take over the game at any point, which allowed the linebackers to just sit back there, which, by the way, we had some real studs at the linebacker position. In fact, you could call us, see, we just had it on pause. Let me change this, do that. All right. So, yeah, in the past, we not only are we known for having, just a great overall defense, but defensive line play, but linebackers have been real studs for us as well, But going back to what my main point here is that we this year's defense is not like last year's or the years before that, because in the past we've had 2 or 3 guys, once one or 2 guys leave on the defensive line, his replacement was already on the field, and then all we had to do is replace him with like a stud 5-star freshman or something. Then we keep rolling. But this year, the defensive line was just pretty much Quentin Williams and sometimes Anthony Jennings, And even though we went undefeated all the way up until this point, the defense was suffering. Like I said, we replaced 6 guys in the secondary. And then with the defensive line that we've had, I mean, Christian Miller was okay, but it was mostly about Quentin Williams. And when you add up the defensive line, the linebackers, and the revamped secondary, which is what we had, I believe if we had any other coach other than Nick Saban, we may have not even made it to the playoffs. But that was Nick, being Nick and coaching up these young guys, getting them ready, to play at a high level, and they did pretty good. We gave up some, like we probably not to the extent that we did in the championship game, but we gave up some passing yards. We weren't great in the passing, as far as passing defense goes. Okay, I'll admit that, but that's, we had that bend but don't break mentality, I guess, we were able to get it done. We were able to get all the way to the championship game, but we got exposed by, a great passing attack. And I was fearful for that, the entire year. I'm not going to say I saw it coming. Nobody saw the beatdown coming that we all witnessed last Monday. But, with that defense, it was just a matter of, would Clemson be able to pass the ball the way that they've, I guess, been doing all year, and if we were ready for it. We had a whole month to get ready, and you saw what happened. That revamped defense that we have, that secondary just wasn't up to the challenge, unfortunately. And so now, with that being said, we're losing a lot of those guys, so forgot I got a list of them. Yeah. And I guess the ones that really hurt is Mac. I mean, the guys who really, really made a difference in the secondary. Well, Mac Wilson, he was a linebacker, but, yeah, he was a real strong guy backing up that defensive line, which we really needed Mac, because, like I said, the defensive line wasn't great, and he was good at backing those guys up. He playing that position, I mean, he had some pretty big shoes to fill when you think about the guys we had, in the past at the linebacker position, like Reuben Foster and, Ryan Anderson, Tim Williams, all those guys, man. Reggie Ragland, I mean, you can call us linebacker U. I mean, based off those guys right there. But we're losing Deontay Thompson. He was the last one. Well, him and Mac were the last ones to declare for the draft. This, with Nick Saban, we're fine. He's proven that he's more than up to the challenge, as far as losing coaches and losing players and replacing them and taking the team right back to the playoffs and the championship game. He's already proven to us that he can do that. So, there's no real worry there, but I'm just saying, I think this is the most that he's lost at one time. Just to give you a rundown, we lost Jalen, I think it was January the 10th, right after the game. He put his name in the transfer portal. Damien Harris, he's a senior, so he was gone after that, after the game. Then on the 11th, Quentin Williams, Jonah Williams, the offensive tackle, Josh Jacobs, our running back, who's a real stud, and Irv Smith, our tight end. All four of them declared for the draft. And then I think on the 12th, Savion Smith, he declared. And then the very next day, Mac Wilson and Deontay Thompson declared. So we never had this many guys to leave us at the same time. And in the past, even if we did, we had their replacements already lined up. This year, the defense was, like I said, the defense wasn't what it was before. And to think that we're losing this many off of this defense, it makes me question who's gonna be the leader, and the playmaker for next year. Because you probably got some guy. I don't know what we got sitting on the bench. I'll be honest. I don't know what we have sitting on the bench. But in the past, to go along with the guys we brought off the bench, we already had some guys, some starters coming back who were studs, who were going to be the leaders to show those 5-star freshmen, how to play the position, and guys fresh off the bench, We don't have that. Our stars, all our stars that we had this year on defense, they're all gone. Mac Wilson and Quentin Williams, they gone. And Christian Miller, he was hurt. He didn't even get to play in the He's a senior. He's gone. So that's, we're looking at a brand new defense. It was bad enough we had to replace 6 defensive backs this year. But now, you're talking about the D-line and linebacker position, man. We're looking at just a revamped from front to back, D-line all the way back to safety, pretty much. And this is different for Nick Saban. This is different for us. But like I said, in Nick we trust. Nick has brought us this far. Nick is going to take us all the way, So if anybody can handle this, Nick can. So I'm going to trust in him and see what he can make happen. Because he definitely has his work cut out for him this time around. So we're going to see what happens, I'm not worried. I just want to see how this shakes out, Everybody's already gunning for us. And Clemson's already proved that they can play with us. Who's going to be next? Who's going to step up to us? We need to keep this thing going. And it's going to be really challenging next year unless we come in with a bunch of 5-stars who are ready to play. So as far as I'm concerned, after the whipping we took on Monday, we're still the hunted, but Clemson right now is at the top with the way that they played. I know they're losing some players off their team too, but I don't think they're losing as many as we are. So we've got some work to do in recruiting, which we do, by the way, have the #1 recruiting class again for this upcoming season. So that's nothing new. That's usual. That's on par with everything else that we do. So hopefully we have some studs on the defensive side of the ball. But we need some on offense too. We lost Josh Jacobs, who was a real stud. He went early, declared early for the NFL. And Damien Harris, like I said, he was a senior, so he's gone. So Najee Harris is going to be the man. But in my opinion, he wasn't as good as those other 2 guys. So we'll see if we get some strong 5-star freshmen to come in there and back him up. Because, with Alabama, we like to rotate our running backs in and out. We don't use just one guy. That's been the key to our success. We run the ball and we play defense, so we got to have a strong running game. So we got to have more than one running back. We were blessed to have 3 this past year. So now we got to get somebody in there to help Najee out. So, but we'll see what happens. The offense, I'm happy about, us finally finding a passing game, because we put all the emphasis on running the ball and playing defense. But to be able to add, a passing attack to all that, it makes us more dangerous. But we got to reload on defense. We got to do that. And we got to get some more running backs. And once we do that, then we'll have a complete team, and I feel great about our chances. But I feel good anyway because we got Nick Saban. So, with that being said, we will wait and see. We got to August, September. It's a long time to wait. But until then, we do have the NFL playoffs. That's going on right now. So, yeah. So I guess that's it, man. Packing up all my Alabama flags and banners and stuff. Packing it away till next year. And going to enjoy the rest of the NFL playoffs. And until then, man, I'll see you guys later. Enjoy the playoffs and roll tide.